All right there, everyone. Don Lemon and the so-called cable news network CNN have gone utterly insane. That's what we'll be talking about on today's video. Just as a reminder, for a limited time, you can get my book, President Trump and Our Post-Secular Future, for only 99 cents as an ebook download at the link below. If you want to know why and how President Trump is, in fact, overturning the political order for decades to come, then this is the book for you. It's normally $7.95, but it's now only 99 cents as an ebook download for a limited time at the link below. All right, I'm sure many of you have heard by now of a series of just utterly bizarre and frankly outlandishly offensive comments that have been made on CNN over the last couple of days. First, in case you missed it, you had the anchor Jake Tapper hosting a show called The Lead, a nice journalist term, right? You would think that CNN is about journalism with such shows, right? Well, think again. Tapper is hosting this show where one of his guests actually accused, again, keep in mind, this is a guest commentator on a supposed news network. He had one of his guests actually go so far as to say that more people have been radicalized under President Trump than under ISIS, the murderous Islamic State. Let that hit you. This came from a writer at GQ magazine, you know that objective, astute, impartial analysis of world events publication called GQ. You had this writer from GQ magazine saying that President Trump has radicalized so many more people than ISIS ever did. And what did Jake Tapper do? Did he immediately fact check? Did he immediately intervene and take issue with such over-the-top, reckless rhetoric? No, he just sat there and he listened inquisitively. In fact, the other guest on the show, he's the panel's token conservative. He, of course, noticed how completely inappropriate the comment was. And he took Tapper to task, basically saying, hey, as a supposed journalist, as a reporter, it's absolutely irresponsible for you not to intervene and object to comments like that. Can you imagine a Republican saying something like that about Obama? And Tapper responded, okay, so you disagree with it then? Okay, so you, Mr. Conservative, disagree with it. Now, CNN and the guest, Tapper and the show and the guest basically had to backtrack. But this ridiculous hyperbole that the President of the United States is worse than a mass serial killing movement like ISIS, I mean, it's beyond juvenile. I mean, that makes junior high arguments look sympathetically intelligent. But it's really just par for the course for CNN, and nowhere do we have a better example of that than the recent, frankly racist comments made by one of their anchors, Don Lemon, who actually said, I heard it with my own ears, he said that we have to stop demonizing people like this massive migrant caravan approaching even now our southern border. No, those people are peaceful people who eventually just get tuckered out. They don't even make it to the border, most of them. We have to stop demonizing people and realize, you ready for this? This is coming from the lips of a man who merely seconds ago said we needed to stop demonizing people. You ready for this? Don Lemon said, we have to come to terms with the fact that the biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized on the right. We have to stop demonizing people and realize that the single biggest terror threat in this world, in this country, is white men. This is CNN. So what's going on here? Why has CNN gone so obviously insane? I think there are really two factors here, at least two factors. First, their ratings are tanking. CNN's ratings have been collapsing now for quite some time. For example, just a few months back, according to the Nielsen ratings, it was reported that while Fox News and MSNBC were numbers 1 and 2, respectively, in the overall ratings for cable network primetime, CNN plummeted to 11th place among all primetime cable networks. 11th place. It's not even the top 10. And given that first and second place are going to news networks, it's not as if people have just tuned out from news coverage. No, they've tuned out from CNN's coverage. Oh, and by the way, it's gotten worse. The Nielsen ratings released just in the last several weeks show that CNN's dropped further to 13th place among cable network channels. If you want a sense of how bad things are, that 13th place actually puts CNN behind the Food Network. The latest ratings for CNN has the so-called news network falling behind Home and Garden Television, the History Channel, the Hallmark Channel, and the Discovery Channel. I mean, here's another one. You'll like this one. It gets better, okay? When the Discovery Channel aired its Shark Week at the end of July, right, in the summer, get this, Shark Week actually doubled its viewership over CNN's viewership, okay? Shark Week got twice the viewership as CNN. Even news legend Ted Koppel recently mocked CNN that if it weren't for Trump, their ratings would be in the tank. He publicly laughed at CNN. They're so bad. Yeah, their ratings are in the tank. I'm actually surprised they haven't had a recent round of massive layoffs, which makes you wonder where they're getting their money. So first, their ratings are collapsing. Again, even fellow journalists such as Ted Koppel recognize that. Secondly, as the asinine comments made by these panelists and so-called news anchors demonstrate, CNN is emphatically not a news network. They're a propaganda machine. They don't report news. They report left-wing global liberalism. That's the key to understanding why I think CNN is faltering here. They don't report news. They report globalism. They are defenders and apologists for secular liberal globalism. They seek to defame and malign and impugn any and all perceived threats to the liberal globalist social order. This is why Trump and Putin are enemies numbers 1 and 2. Right? They are quite rightly, by the way, perceived as enemies of the secular liberal globalist order that CNN celebrates and defends and seeks to perpetuate. All perceived threats to the health and well-being of secular liberal globalism are portrayed as evil and criminal and ignorant and bigoted and homophobic and racist and xenophobic and the like. And of course, every single proponent of secular liberal globalism is portrayed as rational and sensible and hip and funny and cool. Some even get messianic status like Barack Obama. That is CNN in a nutshell. Perhaps you don't remember, but I'll be happy to remind you, it's my job, right? When the whole Stormy Daniels situation blew up, again, largely at the hands of the corporatist media, one report cited a stat that CNN had Stormy Daniels' lawyer, you know, the guy who's since been widely referred to as the creepy porn lawyer, right? Michael Avenatti. You know, the same Michael Avenatti that claimed he had what he called significant evidence that Judge Brett Kavanaugh was involved in drugging and gang raping girls during high school. Yeah, that Michael Avenatti. That he's since been ordered to pay President Trump's legal bills, an utterly humiliating verdict for him. That Michael Avenatti, right? CNN doesn't want you to remember this, but I'll be happy to remind you. When the whole Stormy Daniels fiasco broke out a few months ago, CNN had Avenatti on their programs more than 6 times in a matter of literally days. 5 freaking dozen times. Who on earth could possibly believe that this is a news organization? No wonder the Food Network is getting higher ratings. It's nothing more than a massive left-wing globalist propaganda machine and should not be taken seriously in the least as a news organization. And so I think that the combination of their commitment to left-wing propaganda on the one hand and their collapsing ratings on the other, I think the combination of these two things lends itself to this kind of ridiculous and racist, over-the-top hyperbole that we're hearing coming from the mouths of Don Lemon and these guests. I think the combination of political ideology with the frustration of the lack of viewers propels this kind of absurd rhetoric, which really turns out to be little more than just political stunts. And it only backfires. Like the whole Brett Kavanaugh situation only backfires on them. Shameless gimmicks like this only end up hurting the ratings even more. They may give him a little bit of a quick bounce and that the videos of these incendiary comments pop as they go viral, as it were. But whatever short-term gain they may have gotten in terms of the virality of the video is eventually offset by the ridicule the network gets in terms of their blatant political bias, or in the case of Don Lemon, their flagrant racism. I certainly don't see much of a future for CNN. Don't forget to click on that link below and get your copy of my book, President Trump and Our Post-Secular Future, for only 99 cents for a limited time. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe. Click on our Patreon link below. Become a monthly supporter of this channel and help us to continue to analyze current events and a lot of conservative trends so that you can personally and professionally flourish. God bless.